Yes. Yes. That's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's a great way to put it. Great. I did not have the stream muted, and that blasted my ears. Apparently, my voice is very loud. Okay. Perfect. Like anything streaming, there's a lot involved in the background. I should have totally had some stuff already done up, but we're good to go. And we are live now. Congratulations. Everybody's famous. We're now on the internet.
Oh no.
What?
Nothing.
Oh,
Around the internet.
way to give me a heart attack. It's like, wait, what did I do?
No, we're smooth, coming in good.
Yes. Yes. All right. So, like we were just, chatting. We were just casually chatting before, but everybody that's tuning in, how you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us for our next mental health roundtable talk that we're having. We're hosting these every Friday night for the month of May for Mental Health Awareness Month. And tonight, we really wanted to put a focus for Mental Health Awareness Month, just not on mental health overall in general, but we wanted to put a real focus on it with the positive effects of video games for veterans and how it can also cultivate a community around it as well. So one thing that I really thought was important this month was to bring up a conversation for veterans and mental health and in relation to gaming, and it's a really great topic. And tonight, joining us, do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Blake, how about you introduce yourself? Nobody's seen you before.
Yeah, I'm the fresh face here. Huh?
Yes.
Well, everyone, my name's Blake Savage. I am active duty Air Force, and then I'm also a counseling psychology doctoral candidate. So I'll be finishing up my PhD to be a licensed psychologist, and will serve as a military psychologist.
That's fantastic. And right now, you also do work with the VA as well while you're going through that. Right. Awesome. And everybody who you've tuned in before, everybody knows Lazy Panda. Lazy Panda is one of our fabulous ambassadors for Guardians Mental Health. You've seen him all over the Twitters, Twitch, TikTok. He's everywhere. And also, Lazy Panda is also a veteran, if you weren't aware of it. Is that right, Lazy?
Yes, I'm a retired Army. I did 7 years, 11 months. I did initially air defense artillery, counter rocket artillery and mortar. And then when I made E5, I became a recruiter, and I recruited out of San Mateo, California for 3 years. And then I medically retired in 2015.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your service, both of you. And later we're going to be having another guest on as well, another person that games with Lazy, another friend and another fellow veteran as well, but from hails from France. So it'll be great to get that perspective as well from over there. So as this conversation goes along, feel free to join the conversation at any time. You're a part of this conversation as well. We'll be love to interact with chat, bring any questions or any comments and everything, and have you be a part of the conversation as well. And that's one of the great things about having these roundtable talks is we encourage interaction and joining the conversation. And this all helps with normalizing talking about mental health and like topics. So now, with tonight's topic, Blake had some great articles and resources that he pulled to kind of have a few things to discuss while we're chatting and everything. Now, one of these is a study that was done from the VA that was done back in 2019 and is titled Video Games Can Help Veterans Recover from Mental Health Challenges. And this this article has been absolutely fantastic all the way through. The research that was done really touches on so many different aspects on the positive effects and the benefits about what veterans and people can get from gaming. Blake, are you comfortable with diving into this topic a little bit?
Yeah. So this study that we're kind of talking about with the VA was really focusing on like how can we be there to support the vets that are returning back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and noticing that some of the hallmark features of folks returning back were PTSD symptoms and then traumatic brain injuries. Um, so what they did was they were trying to find different ways of coping in the community, because some of the hallmark features that we were noticing, especially in the COVID era, was like isolation, loneliness, and sort of like that hypervigilance thought process. So some of the responses that this study found by through gaming in the communities was like adaptive coping. They noticed that vets were able to manage their moods and were relieving stress better. And then also it was increasing socialization. It was like, hey, we're building a community of vets that have shared experiences, and they can also game and become friends, but also maybe process through similar experiences that they might all be able to relate to, which to me is extremely important.
Yeah, that and also accessibility too.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming has come a long way from the old school Nintendo, where you were forced to have controllers. Now the adaptive controllers make it really accessible to people with disabilities, where traditional treatments and like leisure activities they wouldn't be able to do because they can't hold a controller. Now, having this access really can people can utilize gaming more. And I love the part of this article where it really touches on the social aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that because video gaming has really grown into its own kind of it really does promote socialization with people that may be kind of introverts and kept themselves kind of away. And the great thing about gaming, it can also be utilized to help with problems such as like PTSD and like things that might harm you, alcohol or substance abuse, suicidal ideation, stuff like that. It creates an escape, and even if it's short term, it can be utilized within moderation to help curb a lot of negative things that may impact, especially veterans. Uh, Panda, with gaming, I know you have your own struggles and stuff, from serving and things that have affected you, and I know from past conversations you and I had, you do utilize gaming for kind of self care and kind of like coping a bit.
Absolutely, Joe. And it started in 2015 when I got out. I was medically retired. I walked out the door, and next day I was 60% with the VA. So it was a huge transition going from
Mm-hmm.
having a job that you had to report to at a certain time to now my whole day is free. What do I do to cope with myself and deal with myself and keep myself productive? And I really found gaming to be an outlet, not only mental distraction, but an outreach to other people who suffer similar problems. One of my biggest things is I am introverted. I suffer from agoraphobia, and being able to be in a safe place, being my house, my room, my setup, but be able to reach out and communicate about issues or similarities that we have is incredible, because I don't do that. I can't voice my problems like outside of my safe space. So gaming and streaming have been absolutely pivotal in my healing process.
That's great. And you brought up a great point too. With gaming, most people game in spaces that they feel safe in, where they're comfortable. And these are the times where people are more relaxed, and with having the average Joe gamer tag on there, you you can feel less anxious about socializing with other people as well online. Especially, I'm going to use Destiny as references, throughout this, and that's pretty much going to be with jumping into strikes with people. I mean, it's got matchmaking, so you're going to be playing with other people, and I I don't know if I'm speaking for myself, but there was a part of this research too that talked about different interactions people can have at different levels with gaming. Say you're playing competitive, so you're playing Trials of Osiris, and you're playing with team members that you went in with. You're going to be reacting and interacting with them different than going in with a freelance playlist and playing with people you've never played before, and then people that you might be playing against in a private match. Like Ray does that crazy randomization game nights with Dim that everybody just random load out and go into private matches. That's a lot of fun, and it's the atmosphere that it creates. I mean, it's everybody's relaxed, everybody knows each other, and it's more relaxed versus going into freelance and jumping into Trials of Osiris and getting pub stomped. I'm gonna have a different reaction to it as well, and it's all about the experience. I was going somewhere with that, and then I lost it because now I'm thinking of Trials. And Trials just gives me anxiety in itself. I love the game mode though, but it's really amazing how gaming, and of course I'm talking about a shooter. It's not always the case with video games too, because all the different genres of video games could help somebody relax, or you utilize it in any way that's positive to them. Somebody could be really into puzzle games. Maybe just seeing hearing a slot machine roll, in an online kind of gambling game. Not promoting online gambling, just saying, there's some sounds that could be relaxing to people, and hearing that. I mean, I don't know if I'm too old, but I remember when you go to a casino and coins came out of the slot machines. So maybe I'm aging myself. Maybe I'm not, but I always thought that sound was relaxing to me. But also like role-playing games like Final Fantasy, sports games, Madden, this and that. It all depends on what games people enjoy themselves on a personal level. So somebody might not be into shooters, but I know this study did show that playing shooters can have benefits to veterans as they play with it. And I'm trying to get to the part of the article, but do you feel that that is pretty accurate? That like possibly playing a shooter game may be more beneficial than playing a puzzle game or a strategy game, if for veterans who might have been in a combat situation?
Like, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think.
I'm going down a rabbit hole on this.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I would say there's almost this implicit sort of thing that like dynamic you'll see where it's like, oh, vets shouldn't play shooter games because they might like re-experience traumatic events or flashbacks.
Yeah, like it carries a stigma on it.
Yeah. Whereas this article offers, and then what I have seen personally with folks is like, it's more so about how you cope and build that structure into your daily life that I think is really important there. If you find positive benefits from playing shooters or competitive modes like Trials of Osiris, then like by all means, if it's benefiting you and showing positive effects, and I think that that's kind of the most important thing. Every person is going to be different based on their experiences that they had while serving. So for some, shooters might be out of the question, and maybe role-playing games to dive deeper into a different world and playing solo, like Skyrim. I had a lot of vets that were real big into Skyrim. That helped them. So I think it really kind of depends. But playing shooters just because you served in a combat scenario or something of that nature might have PTSD. Shouldn't deter from playing shooting video games.
Right. So it still comes down to the individual, what they enjoy and what helps them. I mean, and thank you for going into that. And it's one of those things where I know this study actually touches on prolonged exposure as well, and it also touches on CPT, which stands for cognitive processing therapy. And those were two things that were actually touched on with the topic of shooters and, shooter video games and veterans and this and that. It could have good effects, could have bad effects. But like you said, Skyrim could have been more beneficial to somebody that served in a combat zone versus playing a shooter. I can't speak personally because I've never served, so it really does come down to the individual. But I do see a lot of people. Maybe it's just me. I just think shooters are just more fun. I'm not a Skyrim fan. I can't sit through Final Fantasy for 47 hours to, continue going through it. That's just me. But
We just become best friends.
I can play the heck out of Age of Empires, though. Love that game. Some nights when I'm sitting here and I'm working on things, putting, doing shipping labels or stuff like that, I'll actually be playing Age of Empires. Actually, if I could find it, I would play old school Warcraft. Not World of Warcraft, I mean Warcraft and Warcraft 2. That was some of the first games I ever played on a PC, and that and Unreal Tournament and Doom. But I know, right? I'm going way back.
You're aging me. You're aging me, Joe.
Yeah.
I used to be killer at Unreal Tournament and Quake 2.
Quake 2, Unreal Tournament. We used to have LAN parties at my friend's uncle house on the weekends. Get all the PCs hooked together. Yeah. I miss those days.
Yeah, our house, we actually had 4 PCs, one in each corner of the house, 2 upstairs and 2 downstairs that were all hooked up as a network, and we would play PCs pretty much all night long. But we could never let my dad play because my father is like the worst, like a villain, I swear, as a strategist. For fun, he would take on 10 PC like AIs while playing like Warcraft and this and that and win. Like he just knew, like StarCraft, like he would be destroy people at it. Like I swear he could play in tournaments, but he would always like talk down about the Zerg because you could attack a base and destroy somebody within 5 minutes of the game. Like they spawn so fast. That's a different story right there. But the LAN parties were so classic. But yeah, I'm aging myself. But I love those games. Even to this day, I love still playing those strategy games. I haven't played the Halo ones, but Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, Warcraft, Warcraft 2, like the old Command and Conquer. Those were really great for me, and they really do help me relax and I can focus. And it's one of the games that I don't have to put a lot of attention into, versus like playing a shooter game or anything else where I have to be focused on it. Otherwise, I'm going to get wrecked and get sent to orbit like the Cone of Shame, and booted. I'm not going to progress at all. But some of the things with gaming, I'm trying to think. Uh, do you feel that gaming can be a positive thing for a positive tool for someone that is suffering from like anxiety and depression? Like if like I know this study talks about it, touches on it briefly in some certain spots, but seeing that how gaming can be utilized not only for the social aspect of it and the connection, but also with curbing like negative thoughts, like we touched on at the beginning. I haven't found anything to bring up to quote yet in this conversation, but do you feel that and this is open to just everybody for a general discussion, feel that gaming can help relieve certain moments when people may be being triggered by a depressive episode or anxiety? No?
I can touch on that from a clinical sort of perspective, but
Sure.
Brian, if you have something.
Oh, I would just from a personal perspective, it as someone who's depressed and I suffer from major depressive disorder with agoraphobia and anxiety. And gaming is a reason to get out of bed. I'm doing XYZ in the game today, and I'm going to hang out with person A or B, and it gives me something to look forward to in my day and wake up and do my routine as it's structured into my day now. And that's something that when you transition out of the military, you don't have that structure anymore. You don't have that little box that you've been living in for
Right.
7, 8 years that is just, okay, this is what I'm doing today. And I really don't have a choice to, I don't know what I'm doing with myself now type of deal.
So it has that like adaptive coping where you kind of like you put it in your day as like you would go exercise for an hour. You're gonna get your gaming in today.
Absolutely.
And I do love your mental health Mondays, just so you know.
Appreciate that.
I have to get back on with you with one of those because I love those. But Panda streams very early in the morning too. Sometimes I'll see him go live and I'm like going to work. But no, I think you're absolutely right, and it's one of those things that can be easily worked into, you know, as a coping skill and put into your daily. And I did find a study that we touched on last week, actually, when we were talking, that even playing for an hour a day can have positive benefits to a person overall, because it does allow that escape. I mean, you could have a really bad day, or it doesn't. It could be a hundred different things. It's that escape that it can allow somebody to really just manage their moods and relieve stress, and it it can just be the perfect thing for them. That, you know, maybe a walk might not be good, but diving into, you know, doing strikes or playing a game for a little bit is just very relaxing to them, and it could be the icing on the cake for the day, or it can snap somebody out of an episode. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I can completely agree with what both of you have said there. I think sometimes there seems to be this like very heavy-handed. It's like, oh, if you're having depressive symptoms, like we need to hit you with all of these different resources to make that depression go away. But it's like, well, you're just treating these symptoms I'm having. You're not really treating me as like the person that I am, and based on like my experiences. Uh, and for me, I think having games as an outlet is a way to like adapt, or I mean to detach from maybe stressors in life in a healthy way. People hear detachment, oh, like, oh, you're detached from your emotions. Like, no, that's not necessarily the point. It's like to function and be healthy or be my best self for any given day, I need this hour or hour and a half of playing this game to where I can be just kind of like in my safe space or my zone. And I think that's extremely important. And like another thing too is if you have family members as well, that they could be brought into that experience with you. So gaming with a partner, or a spouse or parents or your kids. I know recently there were statistics released, and it was like 39 to 50%, I can't remember, as one of the major stresses for active duty reserve and vet folks, was that separation from family, and that isolation increasing. So even bringing in or trying to have your family members do these things with you could also be helpful as well.
It starts by giving you an opportunity to speak with a lot of unique individuals, people from different walks of life, and getting to know their stories. And then you just kind of cling to like-minded individuals who share your values, and then you meet some of their friends, they meet some of your friends, and it just keeps going until suddenly you have this network, you have this community, you have these people behind you. And for me, my community stretches all over the world now, thanks to Twitch. Met some veterans from the UK the other day. One was still actively serving in the Royal Guard. Met some gentlemen and ladies from Australia yesterday.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it's global reach now. So the gaming has just. I started. This is gonna date me, Joe. I started on Counter-Strike 1.6 back in 1999.
Okay.
Yeah, and I almost went professional at the age of 17.
Wow.
On Counter-Strike Source.
That's an accomplishment in itself right there.
I built my first PC when I was 16. I was working at a computer shop for my brother, and I almost went professional, and then I joined the Army. Yeah. But on the community side of things, it's for someone who's very introverted and anxiety-ridden, it is the easiest way I've found making friends and being able to connect and communicate with people, because I feel safe. And I feel comfortable in my skin. Where I'm out, I don't feel as comfortable or as safe. I always have a looming fear when I'm out and about.
Right.
I don't get that at home, so, or I get it a lot less at home, I would say.
Yeah, gaming really does encourage socialization, and especially in your safe spaces. That's why it's such a great tool for utilizing overall, especially in those circumstances when emotions and stuff. It's amazing how it's being utilized more in different fields and everything for different things. People are really seeing the benefits of what gaming can do overall. But I love how you brought up the safe space and everything, and you're absolutely right. And that's the best time to dive into things. And I know when I first come into a game, and especially playing with people I don't know, I don't talk. Like I'm kind of reserved, and I know a lot of people I've talked to, or played with rather, after for some time will actually develop a relationship after playing with each other several times. But the first few times, very quiet unless you're very outgoing. Me, I never stop talking, unless I'm playing. But it mutism really kind of is can be a side effect of like social anxiety, and you can get social anxiety with gaming. I mean, would you agree with that, Blake?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think with gaming encouraging socialization or socializing with one another, it's also something you have to grow into as well. It's not something that you're going to dive right into a community and playing with random people with mics on and stuff like that and be completely comfortable with it. Even if you are in your safe space, that does help a great deal, but it does take time to develop relationships with people and kind of like trust. And I've noticed in my personal experiences with gaming with people several times versus, compared to when I first started playing with them, they would not talk. They would follow, directions, know the encounters, know what to do, follow. They didn't have to talk or anything, but in the end, we would all achieve the goal of what we were doing. Fast forward 3 weeks down the road, now I know their name. I know kind of the funny things that they like, funny quirks and this and that. And when my name pops up online, I'm getting an invite from that person. Where before I was the one that had to engage them first. Now you're building trust and you're building community within gaming, and that just helps foster community with one another, and that grows from there. Maybe that person has several friends that they play with on a regular basis. Start bringing them in. Hey, you want to do a raid? Absolutely. We need three guys, three more guys. Oh, I got some friends, and now you're branching out to other communities and growing relationships with other people, and before you know it, your friend list goes from 4 people to 84 people, and it's really amazing how it progresses overall, and especially with socializing. And I'll tell you what, I've never interacted with more people than I did in this franchise or in this gaming community. The Halo community was toxic. I mean, that was where teabagging came from, for God's sakes. That spawned that. But it's just one of those things where it never occurred to me as I call myself an old school gamer, but it's just that day and age from, when you used to have LAN parties. So the people you played with on a regular basis were people you already knew, and you didn't feel bad, when somebody got a quick snipe on you or kind of like push you off something. You could grab your Mountain Dew bottle and whip it at them because they were close enough, but, going from that to what it is now, I mean, gaming communities were never a thing back then. I mean, it was there was fandom. People were fans of games, but not like it is nowadays. But it's just such a unique opportunity for people.
I want to piggyback off something you said
Sure.
real quick. Is like you mentioned something that was really interesting, with like mutism or selective mutism, or folks that might have a speech impediment or another vocal disability. Like the accessibility of a game like Destiny, for me, I'm a console player, but the text chat option, I don't really like to be mic'd up all the time after a day of talking to people all day and stuff like that. I want to play, and sometimes wanting to do things that might be required to have other people, but you can use that as an option to communicate with each other, which I think has been really great.
You're absolutely right. It's just another avenue. I don't know how people do it. I see people typing like you'd be doing a raid, and they're typing like the symbols and everything like that fast. As soon as I see them, it's like, dude, my brain does not work that way. I'm impressed, but it is one of those things where you're absolutely right. You can choose not to speak if you don't want to. And that's a great tool. You also might be having a bad day and just don't feel like talking. There are some times when I play a game, I don't even have my headset on. I'll go through something and I don't even have the sound on. I'll be listening to music instead. Or just sitting in the room and just don't have anything. But you're absolutely right. That is another way to kind of communicate as well, and that can develop too at first, where you don't feel comfortable talking, but you'll see the things come up on the screen where they are communicating, but they're growing more comfortable overall, and it could help bring them out of their shell, so to speak, an individual. What is Enclave? Excellent point. My partner brought up once that they didn't get me all day. Then when I got home, I put headphones on and they have to listen to me hang out with other people. Now we both play Destiny and there's no issues. Well, that's also a thing too that we also touched on as well, is bringing family and loved ones into it as well. I will say it will never happen with my wife. She just does not like video games in that way, even though she's been playing the heck out of Switch. There's like a Mario Bowser's Fury. She will play video games to unlock stuff for our daughters, which is, I think, the most adorable thing ever. But I also love the opportunities too when I can play with my daughter, and kind of share that experience with her as well. She's really interested in a lot of games and stuff like that, but she does play online, but it's just a different feeling when you get to share that with your daughter. Kind of like when I grew up and I played with my father on certain games, he would absolutely destroy us. He was relentless. He did not believe in letting the kids win. He was very different on that. But yeah, no, I think that's great right there. Trying to think of other aspects of gaming that we could touch on, or kind of discuss, that kind of help with having positive benefits for not only everybody but for veterans especially. It can be utilized so many different ways, but I really do think how you said, Panda, with having kind of like that adaptive skill, like putting it into kind of like a daily like exercise, almost like you know going to the gym and stuff like that, making it a part of your day, or your self-care like toolkit, utilizing gaming, and it can really have positive effects, because it with that escape, people are also not thinking about negative things as much. They're focusing on the narrative and everything. And I want to dive down this a little bit. While playing video games, it's great to have that opportunity to socialize with other people, and branch out to community and everything. But that is not really the heart of gaming right now. I want to dive down to the narrative and characters and everything. When you dive into a game like Skyrim or Destiny, you start to go through the campaign, and you see this whole story unfold like a movie. And it's an interactive movie, I should put. So people start building kind of relationships with characters as well, and getting invested in the narrative. I know when Destiny 2 dropped, it was unheard of that the tower is being attacked. Everybody jumped into the story because they wanted to see it unfold. And I'm trying not to go in circles on this topic, but do you feel that not just playing with people in game, not playing with my brain is moving faster than my mouth. Get a word out of my mouth. I see that. I thought it was just me when I was being quiet in chats and stuff like that, literally screaming and talking all day, but couldn't get a word out of my mouth when playing Xbox. It's a relief to know that some vets had the same issues to overcome. Absolutely, Fatal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think having a game, utilizing gaming as well, kind of like on your own, playing one on one, if you're not really feeling like social, but the narrative in the game itself has to really speak to the person, like we spoke earlier, and people do, dive into the storylines and everything. I am going in circles on this, so I'm going to put it off on somebody else to try and carry that into a conversation, if possible.
It's an escape, I think, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
It's you're able to you place your problems on the shelf for a minute, for an hour, for 2 hours, and just focus on something that isn't necessarily real, but is enjoyable, is an outlet, is some sort of relief from your daily stressors, your daily go. I personally find it really helpful to just know, like, even if it's I'm just going to jump in and do some competitive PvP, I know what I'm getting into. Um, there is some routine behind it, there is some normality behind it. And transitioning from active duty to being a veteran, the normality, your day completely turns on its head. You go from having such structure of waking up, doing physical exercise, shower, eat, get to work by 9, work 9 to 5, go home, eat dinner, go to bed, repeat because it's such a long day. But you had that structure every day that you knew, and then you transition and you don't have that structure. Even attempting to go to school, your school schedule it changes every semester. Some classes you got to take at night because they're only available at night. So just rebuilding that structure as a veteran is something absolutely important to, because I feel like a lot of people who join the military in the first place were looking for some sort of structure, some sort of guidance. So to have that again on the outside civilian world is very helpful to my mental health. Having a routine, having um, just something consistent.
Right. Now, with that, would you feel that? I'm trying to think of like time management. There is such a thing as too much. Spending too much time playing video games. It can be bad for not only our mental but our physical health as well. It's good to get up and stretch and do things like that. Eat, get food, and take care of the things we need to take care of. It's great to have that escape, but when what is a reasonable amount of time do you feel that you can have those positive benefits without it turning negative?
Um, I would say that's up to the individual, honestly. Um, I went from gaming as an outlet to gaming as a hobby to now gaming as a part-time job, I would say. So from that aspect, I went from a couple hours a day to anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day. And as long as I keep to, like, there will be days I'll do 24 hours because of one, insomnia, or two, celebrating or incentivizing or charities. But my normal day consists of about a 6 hour stream. And beyond that, after I'm streaming, it's okay, this is your list of stuff to get done today. You've
Yeah.
accomplished something already, in streaming and playing. And because it's no longer just gaming. I am interacting with the community. I am helping people, whether in game or through something personal. Um, so my day's never really done. I will get DMs throughout the day and whispers throughout the day, of course. But um,
Me tagging you throughout the
yeah,
day.
yeah, 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 yeah. But I think it is up to the individual about how much they can fit in their daily life in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
go
think you
ahead.
put that very
Yeah.
well.
To add on to that, I think it's like yourself the best. Um, if you notice that you're starting to use your gaming maybe like is avoiding other things that you're doing, or knowing it's like, oh hey, like I've been really in this like potentially like depressive spiral, and I'm noticing that I'm spending significantly more time not accomplishing other goals or things on my list that I need to do, then that maybe might be a time where I need to check, think like, okay, like, is there something else going on here? Or sort of like pausing for a second and kind of reflecting on like what might be going on for you at that time. Is it an like a common one would be like an anniversary of a significant event that maybe
Right.
happened while you were deployed? Like, just these anniversaries or these dates, like implicitly or internally, like those still our body remembers. our body remembers these events that have occurred, and it can be up to us to be mindful of processing through those responses that are coming up for us at any given time.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point there too. Because you really don't forget, and they could be, those memories can come back too.
Mm-hmm.
No, I absolutely love that. We're at 51 minutes now. It's hard to believe it's been 51 minutes. Um, I so we're gonna probably wrap this up in a few minutes. Just have some final thoughts, just on things. Unfortunately, we didn't get to have our other friend come on, but I would love to do another one of these talks and have them on, because I want to hear this other side from what it's like in France, because I think that would be so interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah, but no, I absolutely I've loved this discussion, and I absolutely love. Thank you, Chad, for so much for being, jumping in and having some great points as well. Trying to think on a final what we could leave on as far as benefits of gaming that people could like maybe take away from it, especially if they are active or retired armed forces with utilizing gaming, or maybe like actually put I'm trying. I had it formulated and then I went actually, and then I lost it. It's amazing how that happens and how the brain works. It's been a long day. I've been juggling several different things, going from day job to setting up a convention to coming and talking with everybody, and this has been the highlight of my day because I absolutely love talking with everybody. And, Panda, you're a great person, so I love every chance I get to chat with you, man. And Blake, this has been a great opportunity too, because we haven't had you introduced you to everybody yet before. So this is the first time that we've had that opportunity to introduce you and have you on and talk about a topic and things. So I'm really excited to get you out there and break you out of the shell, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having more conversations with you as well too. And next time we'll have Doc and Matt on as well, so they'll be able to contribute more to the conversation than an average Joe can. But leaving on this, somebody who may not already utilize gaming, that is a veteran. What is one thing that if you met a veteran, wherever it may be, and you're talking to them and they are having some struggles, would you feel comfortable with suggesting trying some video games as a way for them to cope with some things, or kind of support them?
Coming from the veteran standpoint, absolutely. A lot of veterans get out of the service not 100% who they were when they joined, mentally, emotionally, physically. So I got out and I wasn't physically able to go to the gym anymore, able to run anymore. So I needed an outlet, and I found a healthy outlet in gaming. It's great for socializing with my mental illnesses, anxiety and agoraphobia. I'm not comfortable talking to people usually. So being able to have that safe feeling of being in your home, in somewhere you're comfortable, breaks you out of your shell a little bit, allows you to be a little more of you. And I think that's important, and it's therapeutic in a way.
Oh, I would agree with that 100%. And especially now through COVID, I'm sure it was very difficult for a lot of our veterans, especially with any sort of like medications. I think I saw something like 80% of our armed forces got their medications through the mail, and that made it extremely difficult. So having something else that you can possibly supplement it temporarily, is also a benefit as well. And with COVID just not being able to get out, go and do the regular things, it was really it does provide a lot of unique positive opportunities for people. And Panda, thank you so much for sharing that and sharing, being so open with everyone and us. And I appreciate you every day. And
Appreciate you, Joe.
stop, I'm gonna blush. I got dimples too, don't make me smile. And Blake, thank you so much, bud. And I'm looking forward to doing some more work with the kit we're working on. I know we got the public version of the kit coming out later this year and everything. And I'd love to have you take a look at some things on that too. I know you shared some things already with the move and everything else, and we have all that on in files, and we're trying to put it into a card form. Really difficult. There's a lot there.
There is a lot.
There's a lot. It's like, you can't take just one part of this. But no. So thank you again, chat, so much. We're right at the hour mark. We wanted to keep these round tables right around the hour mark, just to be respectful of everybody's time and not overdo any topics or anything like that. Just have a nice casual conversation. And thank you for being a part of it with us. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to raid somebody. I see Molly is on, actually. So we're going to go ahead and raid Molly. And Panda knows how to do this. I don't. How do you...
It's //raid space
And then name.
and then name.
You know what? I usually just pull up the creator dashboard and just push the button. I cheat. I don't the slash command thing is for the birds. No, but we actually did just one more thing too with the RTS bot. Discord has released it wasn't released, but we just released our RTS bot, which supports slash command now on Discord. It's caused a slight issue with the Twitch side. We're working on that to get it cleared up. So if you're trying to utilize the bot on the real-time support bot on Twitch and it's not active for you, give us a ping, shoot us a DM, an email, something like that. Let us know. We're resetting it daily. That way we're trying to get ahead of it while we're working on it. Discord has forced all verified bots and everything to go to slash command by, I think, June. So we actually, our lead programmer, Cram, actually got ahead of that and actually we dropped it a little early. That way we can all get used to it and everything. So some of the functions and everything are all going to work the same, but we're getting used to just a slash. It's very different style of utilizing the bot. So we'll be doing a stream here soon as well to kind of do a refresher on that and to make everybody a little bit more comfortable with the bot as well. So keep a lookout for that and keep a lookout for future streams as well. We're going to be doing these roundtable discussions and talks all month long for Mental Health Awareness Month. We'd love for you to come and join the conversations with us, and I'm looking forward to next week as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we got some positive gaming streams coming up here soon. I think they're on Saturday evenings. We have a couple of them for the month that we put on the calendar that we're just going to be having positive gamings. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We're going to go ahead and raid Molly and give her some love over there. Be sure to spam her chat with every emoji and everything like that until they time you out. That's always a lot of fun. And Panda, Blake, thank you guys so much for hanging out and chatting tonight. I really found this conversation very meaningful, and I'm looking forward to future conversations with everybody.
Appreciate you having me. Good meeting you, Brian.
You as well, Blake. Thank you again, Joe. Always a pleasure.
Always. All right. See you later, chat. Take care. Thanks. All right. We're rating.